Hello everyone. Thank you for joining us in this webinar. As we all know, the topic is being human and human being. So now we have Dr. Dixon. Uh, Doctor, are you ready?
Oh, yeah, forgotten to unmute myself. Yes, I'm ready. Are you able to hear me?
Yes. Is everyone able to hear us? If so, you may send us a yes or any emojis into the chat box. So we'll know that everyone can listen clearly. Right, great. All right, nice. So yes, so reintroducing the topic again, which is being human or human being. Today, Dr. Dixon will be talking on the matter. Uh, we shall have a discussion upon this. So yeah, let's not waste our time, and I'll pass this down to you, Dr. Dixon.
Thank you, Nali. So you are able to see my slides. So good afternoon, everyone. Hope you are well during this period. And I'm looking outside. Is like things are getting more coming back to normalizing itself. Right. So interesting topic: being human or human being. So let's get start with this particular topic that is one of the what I call one of the question that I always ask myself. Am I being human or am I a human being? Which one comes first or which is which? Okay. Let me see. I thought I started. Okay, let's just a quick overview of myself. This is the number 6 webinar that I've been doing since the MCO. So for whoever was not from Malaysia, MCO is movement control order. Is governed it's governed by our government during the COVID-19 pandemic. So a quick overview of myself, if you never attend my webinar before. So basically, I've more than 20 over years of international experience. I coming from a profession of a computer engineer all the way to human well-being development. Now, I don't call well-being, I call wealth-being because looking at wealth, there are a lot of interconnection to each other. Then after going through all these IT, computer programming, etc., and started my own business a few times. Then I start to get interest in human development. That's where I continue my research and study on the neuroscience and ontological, being an ontological coach, which wanted to be a coach to coach on the being of a person. So originally, I'm a data scientist. I used to be with PwC Consulting as a management consultant. Basically, I love to crunch data and analyze. So that was the old days, and now I love to actually crunch data and look into human behavior based on factual data. Yeah, so that's a brief overview of myself. Let's continue that. Interesting. Suddenly it goes very slow. So let's recap what we have gone through for the last 5 webinar. So we started webinar 1 during the MCO, which is movement control order. During that period, that webinar, I introduced 4 glasses of water. So I get you to identify which glass of water that you have filled, right, for the last at least 10 years. Right? Then I'll get you to identify which glasses of water that you want to fill. That will look at exactly where are you and going towards where you want to be. Right. Then I introduced the 3 bubbles. So then you come to webinar 2, which I introduced the wheel of emotions. And basically, wheel of emotion is to look at why do we have this kind of emotions and what triggers that emotion inside of us. And from there, I introduce if you identify certain emotion inside of you, the opposite side will be the real emotions. So in webinar 3, right, I introduced the rhythm inside of you. Our voice is just like music. And you notice if you listen to certain music, our emotion changes. So same thing to us. If you are able to identify the kind of rhythm inside of you, that's where will get you keep on moving and moving and moving. All right. So that is the webinar 3 rhythm inside of you. Then we come to webinar 4. Right? I introduces the 4 windows to get you understand, right, the way others see us and also the way we view others. So that is our perception and how others perceive us. So from there, you get to understand both parties, even yourself, and the ability to enhance your communication. So that is in webinar 4. So 2 weeks ago, we came to a webinar 5. Right. Then I introduced you the 4 corners of relationships. So relationships, it's just like a chair. If any of the chair are shorter than the other side, you'll notice that it's imbalanced. So when I introduce 4 corners of relationships, right, then when I play a game together with the participant, we notice that communication is one of the top lists in most of us. That's where I introduce you with the 10 phrases of shouldn't start a sentence with. So to avoid the kind of relationship breakdown or some uncomfortable comfortable feeling within each other when you start to say something with that kind of sentence. Right. So that complete our webinar 5. And today we come to the last webinar, right, which is webinar number 6. Right. So in the next 30 minutes, we're going to discuss about being human or human being. Very interesting topic, and I've been searching for this for the last couple of years. Right? Being an ontological coach, I keep asking my coach, what exactly is being? Right? And what triggers us to have that kind of being? Now, if you look at the English words, human being, normally we look at human being. Human being means that we are human, we are being human. Or you want to being a human, you want to follow as a human, or you are a human. That's what I understand. Right? So I keep searching for this particular word, being human or human being. Right? In fact, the simple question that I will ask myself is, am I who am I? So part 1, I will look at what triggers us in that sense. Then part 2, I'll look at the signs of happiness. Right? Being with something, human being. Being is a big word. It's a word that I've been searching for a while for myself. Right? Because I noticed that when people start to tell me you should do this, you should do that, I have a lot of doubts, right, during the past old days. So when I engaged a coach 7 years ago, right, this is the particular word being. Right? The coach had been coaching me for the last couple of years. And basically, to me, the fundamental is understand the science of happiness. So over here, I will introduce what are the 5 practices that I've done for the last couple of years, right, to trigger the being inside of me, which ultimately the result is happiness. Right. With that, right, we'll conclude the webinar 6, and let's spend the next 30 minutes together just to explore, right, being human or human being. Now, this is the same slide I've created since MCO, when Malaysia totally locked down, and now we are in the almost end of our MCO, which is recovery MCO. Right. So we also have predicted that during the first period, unemployment rate is going to increase, which in fact is increased. Yesterday, the news has came out that 80,000 of people are jobless at this moment in Malaysia. Economic downturn, yes and no. But when I speak to some of the business owner, their business in fact boom, right? Because they are in the particular business which is essential at this moment. Yet other business they just fall, right? So it's still a balance within inside. And the biggest worries most of us is hygiene requirement. Yet surprisingly, right, many of us are not concerned about hygiene. Yet many of us does concern, if I infected by COVID-19, where do I get the money to test? That was the question that threw back to me. Right. And during the release of MCO, right, we also expect mental health is going to be a challenge, right, which is happening now. A lot of our clients for the last 1 month, right, I experienced myself, a lot of clients come to me and say that I have this depression, I do not know what to do, all related to mental health. And today, potentially you might be able to find the answer inside of you after this webinar 6. And ultimately, I also predict that once our MCO is totally released, right, one of the number one thing of human is to connect back. So from the new normal now, we are coming to normalizing it. So our mind is a stronger intuition. Let's play a game over here. I love game. Okay, are you ready? So normally I don't get response because everyone muted your mic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a picture. All right, and over at the chat side, just get ready your chat. All right. The question I'm going to ask you is, which one is bigger, A or B? When I show you this picture, okay? All right. So when I show you the picture, you just tell me which one is bigger, A or B. You just type into the chat group. Okay, are you ready? Now let me show the picture. All right, is A bigger or B is bigger? All right, just type into on the chat box. All right, and then my team will compute it and see the answer, whether it's A, B, or none. Okay? So with that, let's continue. Let's start off with the secret to measure happiness. Very interesting topic. Are we able to measure happiness? Right? And even if we are able to measure happiness, can this last? That was the question I keep asking myself. And I've been searching as a data scientist, all the while, everything must be factual. Everything must be measurable. So I went all the way and tried to research something about happiness. Right? So in that particular research, I noticed that a lot of us, they say, I want to have a lot of money. Money, money, money. So people always ask, can money buy happiness? Right. Yes and no. Money does buy happiness. The question is, how long can it last? So money is always one of the biggest answer, and it relate to career. Some of my friends came to me is, I'm only earning a couple of $1,000 a month. How nice if I can go to 10,000 or 20 or 10 over thousands. Right? When they reach that certain stage, when they achieve that, then they will start asking themselves, how nice if I can be a millionaire. Right? Once they achieve a millionaire, they will start continue again. So that is related to money part. And again, how long can this last? Is the happiness going to be forever? Perfect body. Some of us will look at, I want to have a nice body. And they work hard towards it and they achieve the kind of perfect body that they want. Right. Yet again, how long can this last? Great stuff. right? We love cars. Personally, I love cars. Right? I will envy all the big cars, Lamborghini, Ferrari, BMW, Mercedes, all the great brand name in the market. Right? And most of us love that also. Right? So a lot of us does own a car and they upgrade to a better car always. Right? So how long can this last? How long can the happiness last if you got your dream car? True love. Right? I notice a lot of our friends are searching for true love. They say, once I got the true love, I got the spouse, I got my partners, I will be very, very happy. Right? True enough. They get married. After a few years, I went back to them and said, what exactly happiness to you when you found this true love? Right? So interesting topic and interesting way. And throughout the years, I noticed one similarity. When we got a lot of money, it never ends. When we started to come out to this to the workforce, we might earn a few $1,000. After a certain period, you will start to increase to 10 over 1,000 to certain level, right? You notice that the line is going to be flat. So that particular moment, we does feel the happiness, yet that happiness is a very short term. Right? And when you recall back to it, many of us did not shout about it, especially when we are able to buy ourselves a nice, beautiful car. After a couple of years, many of us did not shout about it, the nice car again. Right? So that is the way to measure happiness. And there's a lot of misconception about happiness. What exactly is happiness? Is particular moment just that fun part? Yes, I got it. I got a lot of monies. Now, what if you have tons of monies? What are you going to do with it? Are you going to be more happy forever, or only that particular moment? Right. So that is the misconception about happiness. So interesting graph, right? When we look at it, you stagnant all the way. And a lot of us, when you come to this stage, we are searching for more and more happiness. Now, our mind's strongest intuition are often wrong because our minds are comparing to a reference point. Let me check in with my team. How many have answer A, right, is much bigger than B? Or how many have answer B is the biggest? Or how many have answer none? Lali, do you have that particular numbers?
Yeah, there's two people saying A.
Okay.
And there's one B, and the other is they say the same.
Beautiful. Okay. So let's look back at this particular what they call this point. Right? Is A bigger than B or B is bigger than A? Well, the answer is both are the same. All right. So these are the 2 points. Very interesting. When you compare in the reference point, a lot of us, right, tend to focus on that particular reference points and compare with others surrounding it. Right? Many of us does have the perception that B is much smaller than A. Right? A is bigger if you look back here. Okay? Right. So a lot of times our stronger intuition are often wrong. Right? So we got to rethink all the awesome stuff. Right? When you start to actually look into the amount of nice car we have purchased, we have bought, finally we got it. Right? Are you that the happiness is inside? Right? So rethink on the awesome stuff that you want to achieve that happiness. What are the awesome stuff that really inside of you that you can achieve that particular happiness and it's going to last? Now, reset the reference point. If you look at that, many of us does have a misconception of this and of this. Things that surround us, right, will impact our reference point. Interesting. So I'm going to go into two challenges. What is happening at this moment, right, that create this misconception of happiness. Right. Challenge number one, which is I call it social comparison. Right. I believe many of us at this moment, you will at least own a Facebook account or Instagram, LinkedIn, at least one social media account. And many of us tend to browse social media, especially Facebook, Instagram. It becomes a habit or a way of life in most of us. And very interesting, I personally also experienced that a couple of years. And whenever I start to browse, I go through all these Facebooks, I start to look at my friends' Facebook, and I start to tend to compare with them. Then I start to envy them. I start to feel jealous. Oh, my friend just bought a nice car. So happy. So good, that particular car. Right? I even have that perception that, oh, my friend have gone to this new travel, new adventures. So good. They must be doing very, very well. Right? And I start to recall back myself. Why I could not achieve that? Right? Why they can achieve that kind of life and I'm not? Right? And the worst thing is, I always have that feeling of I'm not good enough. And that demoralizes me. So you look at it, social media is a space that people tend to put their life inside them. Now, and the fact is, whatever you read and you see at the social media, especially Facebook, Instagram, right, very high potential. These are the moments your friends or a stranger are capturing that short happiness moment and put it over at their social media. And whenever we saw that, we start to compare. We start, oh, their life is so good. And again, potentially, this might not be their real life. Okay. So think of our way. I believe you have posted some of the photos and even the moment of happiness, joy into social media like Facebook. And I believe because that moment, you feel so joyful, so happy about that particular moment, you just want to post it up. And whenever I post up, my intention is to keep track of the moment I have. Because Facebook, you have a very good features. After a couple of years, they will start to recall back to you. These are the moments you're having during this particular year. Because of that intention, because of that particular features, that's where I post my lovely moment. Yet a lot of my friends came to me, wow, Dixon, you're doing so well. You see, you're so rich. You can enjoy this. You can go there. You can come here. So nice of you. But inside of me, I keep telling myself that is not the real me. So social comparison is one of the challenge in this particular moment, because we tend to compare whenever we browse through social media. So take note of this, right? Take note of this whenever you start to browse. What is that moment inside of you? What do you feel? Right? What are you telling about yourself? Especially some of my friends, when they feel lonely, they feel depressed, they will start to go to social media and start to browse and browse and browse and browse. The more they browse, I notice that they're more depressed because they've been start to compare with their friends. Oh, all my friends are doing much better than me. Right. So take note of this. That is challenge number one. Right. Second biggest challenge I notice is our minds are built to get used to stuff, like habits. Right. Our minds, and see, if you notice nowadays, our children, even our younger generations, right, they just couldn't get out from this particular moment called mobile phone, right? They just couldn't get away from this smartphone. Right? They've been browsing and browsing. It become a habit, right? And our minds are very interesting. You will get used to it, right? Like, potentially the word I can use is called addiction. Just like in the old days, why people like to smoke and continue? If you ask them, don't smoke, no way. Right? Same thing now. You try to take away a smartphone from a kids, they will cry and cry and cry because you have break the pattern, what they are doing almost every day. It becomes a habit, right? And our minds are unique, right? We tend to have this immune system. I call it immune neglect. Right? Unawareness of the tendency to adapt to and cope with negative events. People that surround us, we notice that these are negative events, yet we continue. So these are challenge number two. Now, I'm not going to go through many challenges. I have listed down almost 10 of them. Yet, these are the two key things that I notice at this present moment. It does impact, right, who we are or who you want to be. That's where it leads back to whether are you human being yourself or being human following others. So being human or human being. So with that, I can continue to talk about all the challenges we have again and again and again, and it never stop because we or I myself, right, when we talk about the negative stuff, we tend to have a lot. Now, what about positive one? I've been hearing a lot of negative feedback from a lot of my friends, my client, or people that I met, a stranger on the road. Yet, a lot of times when I ask them, what can we do about it? If we know this our negative or this our bad things or weakness, what are the 5 things? Normally I ask for 5 practices that you can achieve that fulfillment inside of us. So now I'm going to actually tell you what are the 5 practices I've been used on myself and with my clients, and in fact I've used it on many others people. Right? And to achieve that happiness, what does happiness mean to me? Happiness means to me is whenever I will recall the happiness easily, and when I talk about it, I can feel the enthusiasm, the joy inside. It's always there. So let's start off with the 5 practice. Number 1, exercise. Now, this is nothing new. You know you're going to go, you know you need exercise. You know you need to have a routine exercise. The question is, are we doing it? Right. So, again, exercise is something that is essential to our body. Now, in the scientific way, when we exercise, we sweat, right? When we sweat, that is where we release the toxic inside our body. So, I will urge you to have a routine, right? To take on certain exercise. It can be a team sport, it can be an individual sports, right? Yet, have a routine of it. Now, one of the key things that I always do for myself, whenever I feel depressed or my mind could not work, I will go out and exercise. It's either I take off my golf set and go to a driving range and whack a few 100 balls where my body starts sweat and come back to continue my work. Or I will put on my jogging shoe. I just crazy and run 3 rounds. As long as I'm sweat, I feel nice. Now, one of the interesting thing about our body and our brain, if you keep on staying on certain things and focus on it, you notice that the most is 20 to 25 minutes. When you start to focus on that moment, right, you feel tired. Right? That's the reason a lot of professional scientists, they will encourage you to stand up, to walk around, to do some movement in your body. Okay. One of the good thing is you get your blood circulate again. Then you sit down again and start to focus on particular moment, which is true. It circulate your blood. Right? Yet, I will encourage you whenever you want to do something, or you tend to focus too long period, get out and exercise. Get yourself, your body sweat. When you come back again, it will be very different. So exercise is the first thing that I will encourage you to practice often. Second, sleep. Now, sleep is a critical thing to human being. Human require sleep. And in a lot of research, you can just go Google and search. If I don't sleep, if I have insomnia, if I could not sleep well, what will happen to your body? There are a lot of diseases or sickness all come from sleep. If you don't sleep well, or if you're insomnia, if you could not sleep at night, or you sleep less, potentially you will get diabetics, heart attack, cancer, all sorts of things. Why? Because sleep will regenerate ourselves when your body are at rest. Right? It starts from zero. Now, from neuroscience of point of view, why I emphasize on sleep? Because when I studied neuroscience, so one of the topic it attracted me. Right? In the research, when we sleep, in fact, our brain neuron contracted. See, when you open up our brain, there's a lot of neurons. Neuron is like sparks. It's just firing everywhere. When you start to actually process your thinking or your thought, neurons will start to fire. Right? So when you sleep, what happened to the neurons when you sleep? When you are in a deep sleep or quality sleep, your neurons start to contract. Right? When your neuron contracted, you open up more pathway. Right? It's just like traffic. Right? During the peak hour, when you go to the highway, you notice that all the cars is going into the same highway. You'll get traffic jam. Now, what happens if no cars? The pathway, notice that is getting bigger. So when we sleep, our neurons contracted, we have higher pathway. And what does it do? When there's higher pathway, our toxic tend to release from there. Okay? So toxic will start to release, right, from our brain. When we sleep, quality sleep, where our neuron have contracted with bigger pathway, the toxic will start to release. So that's the reason sleep is critical to our human brain. Right. Now the question is, we know that when we have quality sleep, right? That's a question that came to me and said, where does all this toxic goes to? Right. It's still in our body, yet where does it goes to? Right. Now that is an interesting question, and it's a long answer to it. Yet, if you want to know, just drop me a message. Potentially, I will spend some time and explain to you where this toxic is going to go to. So sleep is the next practice you got to take it on. If you have difficulty in sleep, whether you're stressed, etc., right, you can contact our team. Right, they will be able to advise you or look at what exactly trigger you that you're not able to sleep. So that is practice number 2. Practice number 3, gratitude. This is one of the most powerful practice I want you to take on. Right? I want you to give gratitude to people that you know every day, or people that you do not know, or you never met before, or you just met them. Gratitude. And I believe that most of you, many of you, already know how to give gratitude to others or acknowledge others. And yet, I would like to ask, all right, just give me a show of hand, all right, or you just type in the group chat. That's me, I did. How many of you, every day, you will acknowledge yourself? If you have done that, you just put in the group chat and say, me. Just type me in the group chat. If you are giving gratitude to yourself every day. Right? The way I give gratitude to myself is especially in early morning. When I wake up in the morning, I will say, thank God, I love the day. What am I going to start off the day with? And most of the time, I start off the day with either reading a book or go online and pick up a video which I learned from it. After that, I will say, thank you. Right? Thanks to myself being that consistent to take on another learning for the day. So how many of you really acknowledge yourself? Now, very interesting. The more you acknowledge yourself, right, automatically, or it's our conscious mind, you'll start to acknowledge others. Right? And I did a research. I noticed that people that acknowledge me, sometimes I feel unreal. It might not be them. Yet they take on the acknowledgement, the gratitude. Oh, thank you, Dixon. You're so good. Yet I could not feel the being or the essence coming from them. Right? And from there, I normally ask them a question. Right? Do you do that every day to yourself? And surprisingly, not many of them have done that. And whenever I feel that gratitude from others to me, they are real. They are really authentic and vulnerable. And when I ask them the same question, they say that use every day they will reward themselves. Now, reward is one of the gratitude to yourself. Now, reward yourself might not, you do not require to buy a big car, etc. Just a small little ice cream. You say, oh, I feel nice today. How good if I just reward myself with ice cream? That is enough. So now, how often do you reward yourself or gratitude to yourself? If you are able to do that, you're going to do the same thing to others. So practice number 3, gratitude. Social connection, these are number 4. Right. So I think I have a spelling mistake over here, gratitude, I think so, yeah. So sorry about that spelling mistake. Now, practice number 4, social connection. It's kind of contradicting at this moment because our government or the whole world are telling us social distancing. Now, yes, at this moment, right, we got to impose social distancing. All right. Yet, there are many ways to connect each other. For example, during this over here, I'm using Teams, right, Zoom or video conference. Right? When you get a few of your friends to connect via video conference, that is the experience that you're going to have, you're going to trigger. Right? So when you socially connect with each other, that is where you start to feel the joy inside of you. So the whole intention of practice number 4 is to experience something that you never experienced before, together with a group of friends or with others. Just go and experience it. The experience can be as simple as everyone just fix up a lantern and let it fly. So when you achieve that for the first time, you notice that after a few years, if somebody recall back that incident, you tend to remember or recall the kind of joyful, the happiness moment. I come across a lot of friends or a lot of my clients. When they come to me, I ask them, what was the happiest moment 5 years ago or 10 years ago? What can you recall? When they start to recall this, right? When they start to tell me their story, I can feel the authentic, the realness inside of them. That is the happiness that it lasts for a long period. So if your country or once we remove the social distancing, I will encourage you to get yourself connected with more others humans or friends and start to experience new things. That is one of the practices. And if you take on this, very high chances you will feel the joy inside of you. Practice number 5, which I used to do this a lot. Give yourself a me time. Right. Do you notice that during MCO, everyone was being locked down? Right. The interesting thing is we ask ourselves, during that moment, right, when we lock down, what have you processed inside of you? What have you done? Right? What have you achieved, right, during that 60 days me time? Where almost every one of us have experienced that a couple of months ago during the lockdown. Now, that moment to me is the best moment. That was the moment I start to recall and start to connect with myself. Yes, there are a lot of fear. There are a lot of anxiety coming out. And I will keep asking myself, what am I going to do at this moment? What am I going to be? Right? If the new normal is going to happen. Right? Rather than to look at the future with very uncertainty. Right? What am I going to do for myself? So that is one of the questions that I always ask myself. So practice number 5. Every day, spend at least 5 to 10 minutes to have me time. And there are many tools in the market that you can use to create that me times. Right. One of the most common tools we call meditation. You can meditate for 5, even some of us meditate for an hour. That is the me time. For me, I love just to spend 5 minutes listen to my most favorite song. Right. I will spend me time just doing nothing with a piece of white paper in front of me. Anything that comes to my mind, I just write it down. So practice number 5 is to have more me time. Right? Every day, practice that every day. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised that throughout the day, you will feel very different. Potentially, you'll feel satisfied or fulfilled by the end of the day before you go to your sleep. And again, please practice quality sleep. So great. As I say, our strongest mind, strongest intuition are often wrong, and our minds will compare to reference point. Right? So come back to this. rethink awesome stuff. Whatever you want to buy or whatever you want to own it, right? These are awesome stuff. Are these going to be, are these going to give you happiness and going to last forever? Or are you going to experience something that's so new to you and you achieve it, and the happiness will it be different from the awesome stuff that you wanted? So reprocess this thought. Right? Reset your reference point. Right? There are a lot of noises around us, especially social media. When you start to browse social media, when you walk out to the street, suddenly a beautiful car just came in. Oh, Maserati is so nice. I could have owned that. That could be a reference point that trigger a comparison. So I'll suggest reset the reference point. Right? Be who you are. So finally, I come to the end of this webinar. The last quote that I would like to actually pass on to you, and this quote has been with me for the last 10 years. Integrity is the essence of everything by Buckminster Fuller. Right? One of the most beautiful quotes that hold inside of me. Now again, we got to actually connect with ourselves. What is the meaning of integrity to you or to me? Integrity can be so wide. And the perception of integrity to me and to others is completely different. Yet, work on your own integrity. And that integrity is the essence of everything. If you are able to work with your integrity, you are being you. Right? If you override your own integrity because of the noises around you, especially social media, the environment, etc., etc., right? Just question yourself again. What is integrity to you? Potentially, that will lose the essence of your being. Okay. So with that, to conclude the whole session, again, in the last part, before I go to question and answer, just a quick introduce of the Dickson Lab studio. In the Dixon Lab studio, we assess our human behavior. Then we will actually activate your being, and then we accelerate to your wellness. Wealthness, not wellness, wealthness. Right? So in the shortest period of time. And we believe that you can achieve this 99%. Yet the only failure is you fail to participate. And before I end, thank you a lot for the last 6 webinars. Right? I hope all of you are back to normalizing yourself after this particular pandemic. And that's the rumors say that there's going to be second wave or the third wave. Now again, these are the noises around in the environment. What is your being? Are you a human being of yourself, or you're being human and impacted by the environment? So finally, if you just send some feedback to our team, you'll get a certificate of participation. And this round, I do not come with any free stuff. Yet, if you does have this insomnia or sleep disorder, let us help you, right? Because this is one of the key, right, to achieve happiness. Happiness in the sense of your wellness, your well-being, and even your physical body and your mental health. With that, thank you very much. Pass back to Nali.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dixon, for all the input that you have given us. Very insightful. I think it's really easy to understand from what you have given us. So, and I hope all of us have learned something new from this session. Thank you so much, Dr. Dixon. And yeah, before ending the session, I would like to open the floor, to questions. If you guys have any questions, please leave it in the chat box and we'll answer it for you. Okay, so we have one right here, Dr. Dixon. Okay, so there's two questions. First, this is my first time joining. Can I still listen to the previous recorded chapters? Yes, on our YouTube channel. We do have our YouTube channel. You may find this, the Dickson Lab, on YouTube, and you may view all the previous webinars, which we have 6 in total, right? Am I right, Dr. Dixon? All right, and second, is there a course or training for what's been shared? May I know, is the teapot there for a reason? Is it a message?
Can you repeat that question again?
All right, so is there a course or training for what's been shared?
Yes,
As in,
there are, yeah. So related to the course and training, yes, there is a course and training over at this. The ultimate goal is the training is to look at either personal development or you want to be a coach to help others. So we does have a particular course for this, the entire things. And whatever I share for the last 6 webinar is also part of the course, only like part of the course of the entire bigger course. So if you really want to know more, yeah, connect to our team. Sorry, Nali?
yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, sorry, my internet connection was not clear.
Okay.
All right. Okay. And this person also asked, I know is the teapot there for a reason. As in all of your slides, there's been pictures of teapots.
Sorry, I couldn't hear properly. Are you able to repeat?
Yes. The question is, may I know is the teapot there for a reason in your slides?
Very nice. In fact, I love this question. It shows that you are very observant. In fact, it is the teapot. And why I put a teapot over there in the slides and throughout the last 6 webinar, and you notice, because the teapot or coffee mug is symbolize a space where you start to enjoy, right, either the tea or the coffee. Right? The most important thing is if you start to enjoy something, you'll start to connect with yourself. Right? And that teapot is to symbolize, right, for you to connect yourself to it and enjoy that moment. Always be in the moment at the moment. Be present. That's what we call.
Okay. All right, and there's another question. This person asked, is it possible to do coaching in Malay?
Okay. that's a very good question. I'm not very well versed in Malay, so for me to do coaching in Malay will be a huge challenge for me. Yet my colleague will be able to provide that coaching in Malay. Right. So that is my answer. I'm not that good in Bahasa. Yet my colleague, my core coaches will be able to provide that service in Malay.
So it means that we're not limiting our service or our coaching. There is, there's someone who can.
Yes.
And yes, I guess that's the only questions that we have. The audience, if you have any questions, we open up for another 30 seconds, so you better type, hurry.
So one of the interesting thing when I come up with this topic called human being or being human, It's a big study inside here. In fact, when I start to come up with this topic, it was there for the last 7 years. I keep searching for the answer. There are a lot inside this particular area of research. And beginning of it, when I come out with this talk, I tend to want to break down into 5 parts. And I think because of the time limitation, so I compress everything in one. So in future, if most of you would like to continue or to want to know further into this topic, just drop a message to my team. Potential, we'll look at it, see to restart the webinar again.
Yep. So it means that there will be webinar upon request, or if there is demand for it, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess that's that. We don't have any questions from the floor. We're ending the session now. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Dixon. And to everyone, if you have any inquiry or you have any questions in mind, or if you'd like to contact directly with Dr. Dixon, we'll send you an email where you can respond to us and send message to us. So yes, so you may wait, and yeah, we'll attend you right after. So I guess that's that for today. Thank you so much, Dr. Dixon. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
everybody, for your